5191, right?
Right.
Silver Thistle? Okay, this is the summary on that property, just to let you know. The house is constructed of concrete block masonry. It's in good shape. It has settled in the past. The recommendations we usually make when a house settles is that you seal them and paint them and monitor the cracks. They've sealed and painted the cracked areas that were previously open. There's no structural movement that concerns me at this time, so the building looks good.
Yeah, they had some questions about cracks. They seen a thin hairline crack in the front, and Ben and I assured them that that's just what happens in Florida. But if you could elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah, it's not only Florida. I mean, buildings settle. No matter where in the country the building is constructed, they're going to settle because buildings are heavy. They sit on dirt. There's always going to be a little bit of give. And over time, a building will settle. Sometimes it settles in the very beginning. Sometimes it settles 5 or 10 years into it. But the important thing is that recognizing the difference between a normal settlement and a problematic crack. And I don't see any problematic cracks here.
Okay.
All right?
The foundation is good.
Foundation looks good to me.
Okay.
Things that they can do, and Renee has heard this a million times, to improve maybe what's here, definitely put gutters on the building to control the water that comes off the roof, because that will affect the foundation over the years.
Okay.
Before I forget, also, can you let me know what the termite situation is looking like and if you recommend a termite inspection? They had asked about that as well.
I haven't seen anything, but because the house has been neglected, I think that what they ought to do, and I think it's a good recommendation. I'm not concerned personally that things are going on right now, but I would shop 3 companies and have them come out and do a free inspection and then getting a termite bond on the building, because we are in Florida and it is something you should do preventively. All right, but I do not see wood decay or wood rot. I see a lot of insects that are dead. You know, it's like normal for this type of a house that's been neglected for a little while. I think pest control is definitely something you want to do before someone lives here, and if that's in your plans, talk to the 3 companies. Most pest control companies also do termite control.
Okay.
All right, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Starting with the roof is original, obviously. It's fiberglass, asphalt, shingles. It looks good. The only roof maintenance I have is just sealing some nail penetrations. That's pretty standard. It's a standard recommendation because those are points of entry where water can get in. Okay, it may never get in. It could get in. The way you prevent it is you use roof cement or roof tar to seal those areas, just to make sure. You know, it's preventive. I don't think the roof has ever really leaked previously. You have 2 ways that you can get into the attic here. The first way is in the garage. In that area in the garage, you're limited to just above the garage. There's a space where you can see that way, but physically you cannot fit there.
Okay.
However, in that front bedroom here, in the closet, there's an attic access.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll show it to you when we're done with this. That attic access is restricted too. I was able to get in and I was able to climb up over here, but I don't recommend it. It's a little tedious.
okay.
It's a small area, it's confined space, and you gotta be really careful. But in my journey and going up there, I didn't see any water stains or anything. I got to see the insulation, which looked good, the roof deck looked good, and the ductwork looked good.
Okay.
So I got to see everything pretty well. Coming down, talking about plumbing. I mean, plumbing stuff, you're probably gonna redo some bathroom stuff and everything, but right now, everything's usable.
Okay.
All right, so if like you were to move in tomorrow and live here while you did the improvements, for example, you're able to. The things are working just fine. There's no major leaking going on. There's nothing.
PVC piping, right?
It is. It's actually CPVC on the way in, distribution, and PVC on the way out.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah, that's being used even today.
Okay.
Brand new house, that's what your pipes would be.
Okay.
Okay, so the plumbing looked okay. If you see anything in their inspection report for plumbing, it will be minor. Like a toilet flush assembly in this bathroom, for example, there's a little drip going on there. All right, the electrical system, I do have some stuff with that, but that's minor. And I'll give you the lowdown on the system first. You have a main panel on the right side of the house.
Okay.
It's 150 amp service. It's in good condition. The sub panel in the garage that you see is also in good condition. The minor electrical things that I have, Renee, and this you can probably run by Fabian.
Sure.
You know, is breaker size are supposed to be matched with the right wire gauge.
Okay.
I've got 2 breakers in there that I've got 20 amp breakers with 14 gauge wire. That's a really dumb mistake to have been made. It should be 15 amp breakers. The replacement of the 20 amp breaker with the 15 amp breaker at 2 locations should fix it.
Okay.
Okay, but I reserve the right to have the electrician look at it to see if he decides that maybe you need the 20 amp and then you have to run new wire. One of the 2.
How much would it cost?
That's up to the electrician, but I don't imagine very expensive.
But you can write that down, right, for us to tell the electrician. and all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that's why I'm telling you now, because I want you to know that that will be in there.
Okay,
In the scheme of my business day-to-day, that's a minor repair.
okay.
And you usually find a lot more than that other than those two things. But so I was glad to only find two things. So the electrical checked out really good with the exception of that. Air conditioned performance was good too, just so you know. I mean, the brand name is Tempstar, which is a product of Carrier, just so you know as well.
Oh, it is? Okay, good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Not a bad-
She gets
Carrier
excited when she learns something new.
Carrier made that?
Yeah, Carrier, the same manufacturer of Carrier manufactures like Tempstar, Payne.
I just thought they were
Ryan.
just some no-name. Okay.
No, they have different levels and different grades of equipment.
So is that the cheaper version of Carrier, that's what it is?
Yeah, there's several different versions, but Carrier itself is actually not a top-of-the-line product. I know that they sell themselves that way, but they're really not considered top-of-the-line.
And that's so funny because that's how I've always thought it. What is top of the line?
I would say Lennox probably is top-of-the-line and Train.
I knew Train was. I would have put Carrier above above Lennox.
Well,
Okay.
and they varied through the years, because different
Right.
times the companies go through different phases.
Right.
But your system, just so you know, is 2.5 ton, which is adequate for the size of the house, the interior living space, okay?
It's a 13 SEER, right?
It is a 13 SEER. Yeah, this was the first year in 2007 they actually had to do 13 SEER, so it was. And the system is a heat pump, and it pumped out 102 degrees in about 10 minutes as I checked everything inside.
Oh.
Shut that down pretty fast because it is warm out already. So we got rid of that and then put it on cool. And in the cool setting, the temperature differential was 18 degrees, which is normal.
Really?
Yeah, 14 to 22 is acceptable, 18 is actually pretty
So we
good.
only need to do everything service related on it?
No, the only service that I'll recommend again is minor, and you might be able to do it yourself. Some of the air conditioned systems will develop mold around like where the air handler or the air conditioned lines go into the unit. You have a little bit there, it's not significant.
Yeah, on our house, I put like vinegar or bleach and put a little pipe that runs through there. Do we should do that?
I would stick with white vinegar.
White vinegar?
Yeah.
Yeah, put some white vinegar in and it'll clean that thing out.
It should, yeah,
that's-
keep it
that's-
flowing good.
That's what we do with our house.
But you can wipe the outside off
Yeah.
where the mold, right.
Yeah, I mean, those are simple things you can do yourself.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but basically, I mean, the system performed fine. And given the fact that it's only 7 years old, you gotta figure it's probably got about maybe 6 to 8 years left on it, or 5 to 7 years left on it based on average.
Okay.
It could last longer, and if it lasts a little less, it's just that average life is just that, it's the average life.
Okay.
All right, so I think you're looking okay with that. And although it's been neglected before, and you see some stains at the ceiling from the dust that might have gotten through before, if you decide to do duct cleaning, it might not be a bad idea, only because we know some dirt has gotten in there.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, duct clean, like get rid of a lot of the smell and, you know, I mean, like some of these, I don't know if it might need to be the cleaning or just a good cleaning, got wiped out, or just replacement. Some of these-
Well, you should gauge it on basically when you do the painting. If you decide to paint the ceiling, just so you know, that's probably a good time to deal with
We'll probably
that.
replace it.
Because if you try to paint it or do it, it's gonna not match the ceiling and it's gonna show up, so.
I mean, we probably worry about the wall first and take care of the ceiling after.
There you go. As long as you guys have a plan, I can tell in watching you measure everything, I know your wheels are turning up there. So basically, I think you've got a pretty good place here. I mean, there's really nothing that stands out in the way of major.
Okay.
It looks like it's a decently built building. It's concrete block masonry, and the truss tie downs that I look for are there. They're the metal single wrap straps, so it's good for hurricane.
Is that it?
Yeah?
Yeah? Okay, good. Because this video is getting...
Oh, sorry, Renee.
No, you're okay, you're good.
I'm
That's
talking.
okay. All right,
So the
thanks.
window can withstand hurricanes for us, because these are new.